Welcome to GMST Solutions Private Limited Digital Learning. So today topic is validating the user inputs as per the requirement. So if there is no validations, what will happen? We'll go for the simple example. If there is validations, so what is advantages? Okay. So this application completely what we created previously Spring Boot MVC applications, the same application only. Just we are applying validation on model properties, example employee data or customer data, product data. Just we are adding the validations. If there is validations advantages, there is no validations, what is the drawbacks? So simple example and theory part will take. So then we can create a simple project and we can add the dependencies, same like Spring Boot MVC project only, just adding the annotations on your property fields, nothing. Okay. If you want to watch the Spring Boot MVC projects and how to create, how we can create it, okay, so we can implement that Spring Boot MVC with the JSP pages or without using the JSP, using the Postman, how we can test it. The previous videos go through the. I have uploaded few videos on the Spring Boot MVC and Spring MVC, so please check it. So the same application only I'm giving for the validation part. So everything is same, only validation part. So validation advantages, validation. Without validation, what is the drawbacks? Okay, just we'll see the theory part and we'll start the project. Okay, see example. I'm giving the simple explanation here. See, we have the form like login form or user form, anything. Okay, if you are taking login form or any product details, any product details, okay, or any something, just we are submitting the form. Okay, form data. So form data means here we have the different fields like, so input tags mean text field. Okay, text field, and we have the drop downs. And we have the check boxes, radio buttons. Okay, check boxes, and radio buttons. So like this we have the form tags. Actually we have the form tags, different form tags we have. Now just for the understanding purpose, we'll go for the text field. Okay, how we can submit the data, and there is empty data. So what is the issues you can face when are submitting the empty data? So example, so I'm sending the simple username and password or user input values, three fields I'm taking. So it is on form like, okay, JSP page or HTML page or front end page, any front end page you can, okay, take it. So here, so form name I'm taking, so just test data I'm taking, the test data or EMP data. In place of EMP data you can use the any EMP data. So here ID, employee ID, one text field, and the name one text field, and so maybe email or first name, last name, gender, lot of things we have. So just we'll take the three fields. Okay, so and one submit button. Okay, here you can send the data, send or submit, click anything. So without giving the any input, any character, just clicking on the send button, just click it without any data, empty form. So empty form I'm submitting. So ID may be number. Okay, so number default value is 0, or if you take the string it is null. Okay, so means name is string, it will be null default, and email also string, it will be null. Now if you want to compare the data, means validation means while login time, so it is a creation. Example, you can take the test data, means it is a creating the data. Okay, creating the data in database. So it will store in your table. Okay, in database table the data will be, so what are the fields we have? So id, name and email. So this is the column names in your database: 0, null, null. Maybe if you take the QR code, so it will be null, null only. Okay, so we have the one row, so it is by default we will get the row 1, row 2, so like that we will get the row count also. Now, so it is the creating the data, means registration form. It is a register form. Next, you need to log in. Once you create the account, we need to log in. So login time, what will happen? The input data you are taking from the user. So example, you can take Gmail or anything. Okay, so login form. Here you are entering the email and password or id and email something. Okay, so we have the email property, and maybe if you want to provide the any passcode, you can apply the password. Okay, so there is null everything. So even if you want to take the password field, you can take the password also. It is null. Okay, it is null. Just click on login button. Okay, so click on login button. So entering something, maybe while login time you will give the some mail like abc@gmail or something, mail.com you will give it, and password abc123, like that you will give the input. Now, so while registration time your registered data is empty form you submitted, but login time you are fetching your email something abcmail.com something, and password abc123 you are fetching it. Means if you want to give the dashboard, or if you want to give the validation, or if you want to access to the or company data or mail or something, so while creating your data, so what is the data it contains in your database, and login time we have to verify that it is matching the user input or not. So what will happen here, internal the business logic will be take. So when while clicking the data, abc is the your mail and password is abc123. Okay, see the name, the email property and passcode property, these properties comparing in business logic somewhere in the service layer or controller layer. So you can use the service layer in Spring Boot. So we are verifying this, the null data. So database data we need to fetch from the db data. Okay, db data, and we are identifying that information where username and password is matching, we need to fetch it. So there is no records means it will give the empty row. Actually, if there is no matching data, you will get the empty row on. Okay, so id and name and email. Okay, and password you will get the empty row, so nothing, the column names and empty row you will get empty row. So means it is default values are the null values. So what I'm doing in the business logic, so you given the input data is the abc and abc123 the mail.com, so I have to verify it. So here we can use the if block. So there maybe your poser class or any model data. So employee object, so something you can use the emp dot get email, get email dot get email dot. So equals method, we will use the equals method of your abc, your abc@mail.com you will use it. So the get email data is the null because in database written complete empty data null. So null dot equals method, null dot equals method. So anything if you want to compare null data, it will throw the exception because it is invalid data. Okay, it is invalid data. So null dot equals of abc. So we need to compare your input is the abc@mail.com, and the empty form is, it will create a default values is the null null null, like that. Okay, so now if you want to see the same what I am giving here, so programmatically I will give a simple example, then we'll go for the Spring Boot project. So here my main intention is, without form validations, you are submitting the form, the data stores in database, okay, through our business logic, Spring Boot data or Java or anything. Okay, Java, Spring Boot will be stored in the database. Then while login time, we are comparing with your registered data with our login data, so we are comparing that. So empty data you stored initially, so there is no valid data in your database. It will compare with the default values, means null values. The null values will throws exceptions to avoid that null form or null data. So we need the exception handling for valid data constants. And second thing, instead of taking the backend exception handling, so to user, if you want to display the form data, so itself form itself only while submitting here, while submitting the form data, id required, so like that you need to apply the name required and the email required and password required. Like this we can apply the validations on the properties. If you use the form validations with the help of the Spring Boot forms on the JSP pages with the help of the JavaX constants, the user understood, yeah, I do must, we need to give the input some value, something, and name something, we have to give the some value, and email also something we have to give it at least. So they will get to know. Otherwise what will happen, it will submit the data. So the data will create the null records. The null records throws the exception while comparing with your login information. So if you want to verify that, so what I'm giving, null point exception, it will come or not. Okay, just verify it. Example, I'm taking the one simple Java class. Inside that I'm using the simple string property. Okay, or you can use an email only, you can use the property. Okay, the property email is a null. So because initially we didn't give in any input, but login time, so I'm entering the value is, if email dot equals of the login time, I'm passing the data abc@mail.com. Now just if we execute it, so even you will get the, so immediately error. You can see here I'm giving the test, that is the example I'm giving the, okay, work I'm giving. So because here you will get the line number 8 itself exception, it will throw actually, so you can verify it. So run on Java application. See, the exception thread main java.land null pointer exception cannot invoke string.equals object because email is null. Okay, and here you can see that com.example demo example 1, the line number is 8. So because line number 8 we are comparing, but the email value is a null, so we cannot compare. Now if you want to proceed with the valid data, something we have to give it. So now we can say the abc@mail.com. Now you can see, if it is valid data you will get the true, if it is invalid data you will get the invalid. Okay, invalid credentials, like that. So now we need the, in place of null information, we have to apply the, okay, form validations. So how we can apply it? So this is the Spring Boot form validations we are going to implement with the help of JavaX constants. So we'll show the simple example, then I will get all the form tags also, and I will get the source code to the GitLab or GitHub link. I will share in the video description. Go through that, so you can execute project in your system and create side by side also with your own information. Okay, so let's start. So step by step. Okay, Next, so here Spring Boot form validation. So steps I'm giving: create the project, Spring Boot project in STS, that is Spring Tool Suite. I'm using the Spring Tool Suite, or if you want Eclipse also you can create mesh. And required dependencies, that is the starter proposal, you can select. So what the required dependencies we want, and then create the poser class or data class or model class, entity class, and just apply the constraints. So with the help of that constraints only we are achieving the form validations. It will accept the information without any stations, means we have to provide the any input value, either in the integer value or string value, or at least one character we have to apply it without empty data. If there is empty, we will get the exceptions. We will provide the validations with the help of Java constraints. Then controller layer, there we need the valid annotation. It will give the exceptions if you are not giving the any input. If you are giving the at least one character or 3 characters, 4 characters to our form, it will give the valid input data to our business logic. It means it will accept the data. If there is no input, it will throw the exception. That is a method argument not supported exception. So I will show that. Okay, fine. So go for the STS tool, just create simple Spring Boot starter project. So Spring starter project. So whenever you create the Spring Boot starter project or Maven projects, you need the internet connection. So definitely have to check before creating the project, because it is Maven project downloads from the ambient repository. It is a starter profile. Start.spring.io will provide all the starter profiles and dependencies from the repositories. Okay, so now the application name I'm taking here, Spring Boot form data validations. What is this? Spring Boot form data validations. I'm using the project name, so you can give any name as you wish. And here I'm using the Maven project. So even Gradle also we have, but I'm using the Maven, and the Java version is the 17. And even you can go for the 15 also, 8 also, 11 also, you can create no issue. And the packaging type I'm using the jar or var. If it contains the business logic plus and view pages, you can go for the var. It contains only business logic, you can use the jar. So as you wish, it is not a matter. Okay, and language Java we are using, we have the multiple, but I'm using the Java. So it contains, so view pages I'm using the var type. So as you wish, you can use the default jar also, no issues on this. So group is a package name, and artifact ID and project name both are same, and description as you wish, so what you want to provide it, and the package name I'm using the same group ID only. So this is the setup initially. So these steps already I have given in the previous videos and all the videos. Okay, you can check the Spring Boot with Hibernate, Spring Boot with collections, REST API, different Spring Boot MVC projects. You can go through the again and again if you want to watch it. Then if you go for the next step, here we can select the required dependencies. So just our intention is today we need to validate the form data. That's it. Our duty is just to validate the form data. So here I'm using the Spring Web we need, and the validation we need, and the Spring Dev Tools. If you want, you can, otherwise it is optional. But if you want to take it, live reloading, any updates happening in your application, it will restart the project. If it is not displaying here, what you have to do in the available, so just type the web. Okay, here you can see the Spring Web, and type the dev, you can see the Spring Boot Dev Tools, and validation, you can see the IVA validation, just type it, so it will come. So if it is not displaying here, no need to worry. Here you can type it, what are the required dependencies you want, it will come. Select it. So here we are taking the Spring Boot Dev Tools and validation Spring Web. That's it. And remaining thing, if you want to add the any other dependencies, so we can copy paste also in .xml file. So we'll do that also. Okay, no. So finish. So it is downloading the project. So once it is done, and you can open the project here. See, Spring Boot form data validations, just now we created. Okay, just now we created here. So you can verify the project structure clearly, it is created. So here we have the 15 only as of now, Maven. So you can change to the 15 only, no issue. And here 3.2.7. Okay, so here I'm using the 3.7.1 or 7.2 also we can use, no issue. Okay, sorry, 2.7.1, because why I'm changing the version means, so the Maven version is, it is taking default 15. So from 17 onwards you can use the Spring Boot 3. So as your wish, if you want to apply the JDK latest versions with the Spring Boot 3 also, you can apply it now, it will work it. Okay, so here 2.7.1 I'm using the version, and Java 15. So these two things I'm changing the initially for my system setup. And required dependencies, you can see the validation is there, starter web is there, dev tools, and Tomcat. Spring Boot starter Tomcat is there. Okay, Spring Boot starter test. Any other dependency you need, so I have the dependencies here, the required dependencies. So I have the starter validation is there, web is there, dev tools is there, and starter Tomcat also it is there. I need the JSTL for expression language. So when I'm taking the expression Spring Boot form tags in the JSP, I need the JSTL to compile the custom tags. Okay, so I'm using the, it is available in the MN repository also, you can copy from there. And embed Tomcat Jasper, why I'm using this dependency means, JSP file if you want to compile and execute, so we need the embed Jasper Tomcat for converting a compiling purpose. That's it. Okay, only two dependencies is enough. Okay, two I'm copying here. So remaining everything it is available. Okay, so just paste here. So JSTL and embed Tomcat Jasper. That's it. So this is the first step after creating the project. So next, no need to add any dependencies here. Just go for your business logic and create it. Okay. So just we need the one poso or model class and one controller layer. That's it. Nothing. If there is any issue, you can just go for the Maven update project, force update, just complete. Done. So coming to the main SRC main Java. So the default package is the com.test. If you want to create your own package like layer attacher, so I'm going for the model package for the model data. Okay, model package, model data. The class name you can use the employee or any something you can use it. Okay, just finish. Okay, fine. So here just we are using the three properties or 4, 5, and how many you need you can take it. So just I'm taking the private integer, okay, emp id. So you can use the emp id. The property name is emp id. Okay. So private string emp name, emp email. So anything you can take it. Just I'm using the three properties. So here create the setters and getters. Source, I click in the class any location, generate getters and setters to set the data and get the data purpose only, nothing. Okay, done. So it is without form validations. Now if you want to apply the form validations, how we can apply it? So it is number format. Okay, so you can apply the not blank or not null. So we have the annotations here, not blank, not null, not empty. So not empty, not null for the object type, not blank for the numbers. We can use the numbers also. Or even if you want to go for the number, maybe the emp id minimum size and maximum size, you can apply it. So we have the size also we have. So we can apply the size annotation. So minimum how many digits are how many characters, minimum, so 3, max 5 or 10 also you can use it as your wish. So like this we can validate the our form data as per the requirement, as per the documentation. And even if you want to provide the message, okay, we can provide the message also, not blank, empid empid required, empid required. The same for the string also, and the rate of not empty, okay, not empty or not blank, not null, so you can use it. So here also you can apply the message, here also you can apply the message. Okay, the message name is required or employee name is required, so as your wish. I am giving the just for the shortcut way, you can give the any other messages also. So same for the, so not empty, message for the email, email is required or email required, so you can minimize the message also, no issue. So like this, how many properties you have? Okay, so options like languages, skills, and drop downs like from city to city, different location names, so drop downs, these things I will show it, okay, no need to worry. So like this we can apply the form validations, and for this we need the controller layer, okay, one for the displaying the home page. From there you can go for the login page, so submit the login page, and login page submission, so we have to display the success page also, so for confirmation your data is correctly so submitted or not. Okay, so how to create the controller, I hope you guys knows very well. So just I'm using, so model package, another one I'm creating the controller package. Okay. So you guys knows what is the request mapping, get mapping, or so post method, get method, these all things, okay, the same like employee controller. Okay, employee controller, so it is a controller package, controller package. So this class must we have to apply the controller annotation, and here I'm using the default home page. Okay, default home page, public string home page, okay. So here request mapping, so default it will return home page, so I'm giving the home.jsp, so we have to display it. Next, in that home page, click here to login. So for login we need to display the login page. Okay, so here I'm getting the one more HTTP method, login page, so request mapping. Okay, so simple, here you can use it. So just you can give the any URL link, login here. Okay. The page name login page, so return login page, or maybe it is a method name, it is a page name, so just I'm giving the sign in page. Okay, sign in page. So here while submitting the data we need the model interface object. Okay, model interface object, the model is actually data contains, it contains the model information, wherever you want to access that data we can access. Okay, model, and we need the employee object also, employee contains information. Okay. So here I'm using model dot add attribute. Model dot add attribute. We have the attribute object, just emp. So with the help of the model object, we are storing the employee data in the model add attribute method. With the help of the model object, wherever you want to access the employee data, so other controller page, any UI pages, from UI page to back in business logic, we can extract the data in meta format and we can convert to the as per our Java objects. Which is the model is the interface. It contains data about the our model objects. We have the model and view also. It contains view page and model data. So you can check the previous examples also in videos. You'll get to know. So the same way, once we submit the data, we have to validate. So while submitting the data, we need to validate it. Okay. So see here I'm using the public string. Okay. Submit login page. Submit login page. So here we need to validate first. So how we can validate the data? So request mapping, submit data. So here I am using at the rate of valid annotation plus and at the rate of model attribute. Model attribute. So the data model attribute object is employee object, right? Employee object, employee emp, comma, and another object we need binding result. So why we need the binding results means, okay, binding result. Okay, just you can use any object name here. So this object, so whenever if you submit the empty data, the validation throws method argument not support exception. If there is any exception, binding result will check errors are there. Means if binding result dot has errors, okay, has errors, we have to return same sign in page only. Okay, same sign in page only we have to return. Or else if it is success, then we can return success page. Okay, success page. So this is the story. Actually, even if else also you can take, no issue. Okay. So valid annotation is checking the your submitting form. There is empty data. It will throw the exception. So the binding result will trigger that automatically. The has errors is the boolean type. So if there is errors in your form, it will display the same sign in page only. And you have to give the valid input to the form, then it will submit. So once it is valid, then it will go for the, there is no errors, it will come outside the block, it will display your information. So what we have, okay, the model attribute is the emp data, it will read it. So this is the logic and everything. Now what we have to do, we need the home page, sign in page and success page. Home page, sign in page, success page. I hope everyone knows the HTML tags. Here also some HTML tags only, but a little change. Okay, little change. So in the SRC main resources, we have the applicant properties file. Here I am changing the port number is server dot port equal to. So we can change the custom port number as per our requirement. So I'm applying 7676. Just save it. By default is 8080. I'm changing to the 7676. Okay, fine. So next, and inside the SRC main web app, here you can see SRC main web app. Inside the web app, we have to create the folder, like create the folder web.inf. So inside the web.inf, we need to create the one folder, that is view pages or JSP pages, anything you can use it as your wish. You can get the JSP folder. Inside that folder, I am taking one simple page. Okay, JSP page. Okay, JSP file. So home.jsp. So here it contains simple h1 tag I'm using. Welcome to Spring Boot form validations. Welcome to Spring Boot form validations. Click here to submit the data. Okay, click here. So I'm taking the anchor tag. Okay, click here to sign in, or if you want to create a, click here to log in. Anything you can use it. Click here to register, or anything you can use it. So the link, it will go to the href equal to login.jsp, and here what is the controller URL link, login and submit. Only two URL links we have. So I'm using the login URL link. It will trigger login URL link is, so what is the page name? Sign in page. Sign in page. So we need the sign in page also. Create it in the JSP folder. All the views in the JSP folder. Create another file, JSP file. Sign in page. So here the sign in page, okay, or register page also you can use it. So register page or sign in page. Okay, so the sign in page, we need to create the data, or register page. So for your better understanding, I'm taking the, so register and submit the form. Use the register URL link, create the data something. Okay, so here I'm using the, so EMP form. So that is the creating the EMP data. Okay, EMP form. So change to the your sign in place to, okay, EMP form. So recreate it, just only refactor for better understanding. EMP form. EMP form. The same EMP form only you need to give the, when you have the errors, empty form. Okay, done. Now here what we have to do, we need the JSP form tags. Actually we need the JSP form tags. So then we can get the model class information, what we have the properties, same properties, and we can apply the valid form tags actually. So if we have the JSP form tags in our document, we can copy, otherwise we can take from the reference projects also. So what is use of the JSP form tags? What are the input tags we have? HTML tags. In place of that we have the our JSP Spring Boot forms, Spring Boot form tags. Okay, so already I have the project. I will show the same project only now once we done the one application. Okay, so here I have the same src main web app web.inf inside the JSP. Okay, you can go for the login.jsp. So here you can see the tag lib Spring Boot form. You can see the Spring form tags. You can see Spring Framework form tags. Copy this. So with the help of the Spring Boot form tags, okay, so here form tags, what we can do, in place of HTML tags, we can use the Spring Framework form tags actually. So here I'm using the C simple h1 tag. It is the HTML tag only. So it is EMP or employee form information, or employee data, or you can use the employee data. Okay, done. So here actually we will take the enter username or enter employee ID. Okay, so input type equal to text, and like this we can use the name equal to something like EMP ID, the same property name what we have, the same like we can use it. emp id, and okay, so like same for the email password, like this we can use. It is HTML tags actually. Now in place of HTML tags we can use the Spring Framework form tags. So how we can use it? Okay, so here form is a inbuilt tag, so you can say the form. Okay, you can say the form colon form actions. You can see the form colon form actions. Even if you want to go for the action tag, so action equal to submit or something we have it. Okay, action equal to what we have in controller, submit. Use that submit. So inside this form tag only we need to submit all the records, right? So here I'm using the form. Okay, so form colon, not form action. Okay, form colon, so input tag. So input tag, okay, so path means what is the property name you have, employee property. The same property name only you need to give inside the emp form, that is emp id and input. So before that, if you want to give the indication to any something, okay, form colon label. Okay, so label. So what is the label actually? emp id only, but enter employee id or enter emp id. So enter id. So anything shortcut names. Okay, and if we have the errors, form colon errors. If we have the errors, okay, we need to throw the errors also. The CSS class. Okay, the CSS class. So how we can get the CSS class here? Inside the header you can use the style tag, create the custom CSS tag. Okay, very simple actually. Dot error. Okay, so color equal to red and font style. Okay, font style. Okay, italic. That's it. Only color and font style. Okay, so here we have the error class. The same for the all the properties, id and everything, so you can use it. So we have the three only, right? Enter name, enter email. So here emp name, so you have to give the same poser class property only. If there is mismatch you will get the error also. Okay, CSS class equal to error, and path also you can give the path also. Here you need to give the path. So emp name, here also you need to give the path. So all the emp id. Okay, so here path, emp email. Okay, email. So that's it. And we need the submit form actually. It is a form, starting tag and ending tag. Inside that we have the one submit form. Okay, submit form. So input type equal to submit, or form equal to, we have the form colon select submit, or you can use the input type equal to submit, value equal to register. So here if you want to apply the break for the each and every property, you can apply the break also. So it is a simple form. Okay, and here you have to remember one thing. So where is in the Spring framework forms, and inside the register form, so here you can see the model attribute, the model object we need to use, and here the home page in place of login you need to change to the register. Okay, save it, and the form action you can see the action and model attribute, we have the model attribute also. Okay, so what is the model attribute object we are using? The same object we can use the employee. Okay, employee object, emp object, that's it. So with the help of the emp object, id, name and email, password, anything is there, we can submit the data and we can read in the front end also. It is simple Spring Boot form data. If I execute the same application, if I have the same application, so you can verify the data also. You can verify. Okay, fine. So just start the application. The same application already it is executed previously. Okay, so you can check it. Start the main method. So it is the same application only. So previous example, because everything is same. So the port issues I'm changing it actually, and I'm verifying the port also here. So 7565 the port number. Okay, here 7676. And so where is the our view pages? Actually we have given the view forms, home and these all things, and where we created the project inside the Spring Boot data form validation. So inside web.JSP. So internal resource view resolver, we need to give the path Spring MVC. So separately we have to give the XML file configuration, but here in the Spring Boot framework we have a properties file, there only we can give the, so where exactly our view pages are there. So web.JSP folder, there we have the view pages, suffix, what is the extension .jsp, that's it. Okay, so you can verify it. So what we have did, so created the Spring Boot STS project, added required dependency and model class, and added the JavaScript constraints and validation the controller layer. Okay, in method argument, that method accepting the form data, the data from the forms. So here I can say that we are submitting the form data, ID, name and city, the same three properties only. So we are checking that. Okay, so same label inputted errors. Here also we created the EMP form, you can verify it, label, input and errors, same thing only. But the previous project there is no port issue, so that's the reason I'm executing the same project only. The code and everything is same. I will share the source code. Okay, fine. Now so check the previous example. So here start the main method class, Spring Boot app, hello, and what is the port number? Okay, you can see port number is 7565. Okay, you can check it. Localhost 7565. The default home is welcome to Spring Boot form validations, and here you can see the click here, it will go to the EMP login page. If I click on the empty form, you will get the ID required, name required, city required. Okay, so it is the validations. If there is no validation, means it will submit the form, you will get the null point exceptions while validation time. So I'm giving the something ID here and a name, something name, you can give any name of the data, city, any city name. Just click on login, so there is a data. Okay, so here again you can see the first data I'm giving, remaining two I'm not giving, so still you will be there in the same page only, you can see. So it is valid, so no error. Then second also you have to give the some data, so city required, you can give any data. See, like this the form validation will give the best information to the end user and they can check like wherever you have the issues, the exact field you will get the error points. We have to read that and give the input data. Means what is the advantage here? Every property wherever you need the information, there we can apply the our Spring Boot form validations. So it will throw the exception on the if you are not giving any input, and it will generate the your message, custom message. So same thing we can do in the Angular and React and front end, different like required fields and things. That is also we can, but for Spring Boot side, we have the option to how to validate your properties as per the requirement and patterns and everything. Okay, this is a simple form data. So how it is working here, you can see. So initially, the welcome page is home page. So we have did it. So home page what we have given, welcome to Spring Boot form validations register. So the previous example, what we wrote the logic. So here also same home page only. You can see the employee controller home page, EMP login. So here we have the, so EMP is the attribute name and EMP is the object of the employee, nothing. So attribute name. So here the login page contains, here you can see the login.jsp, ID, name and city. So this property is from where? The model class employee.java, ID, name and city, nothing. The same property, you can see the not null, not empty, or not blank, or not okay empty, like not blank or not null. So different constants. Okay, so here the validations we have given, the minimum requirement, maximum requirement. Okay, so this all things setters and getters only. Next, coming to the controller part. In controller, same home page, then EMP login. So it is a model attribute. It is a property just for the key value pair, like that. It is a reference variable wherever you need to read the data, nothing. And login data. So next we have the submit form, same what we wrote the logic. So submit details, validation, model attribute, the same EMP only we are using here, this EMP object. So converting to the your employee model type, then banding result. So model is optional here. So we are not using the model object, you can check. So we are not using the model because already we have the model attribute. But if you want to explore the data, you can explore it. So we have the employee data, you can do it, no issue. And if else block, so if there is errors in the same login page only to display the data, and else block success. Okay, so what it will do, the validation, it will give the method argument not support exception, it will go for the errors, there is a empty data. So while submitting the forms here, if you click here the data, so it will throw the valid exception, submit form action. Okay, and the EMP form, every field we have the login.jsp, there is the ID, enter ID, okay, enter name, enter city. So error class is CSS, error class is city, italic format and red color. You can see the italic and red color, it will display the errors in your each and every property. If there is no error in your property, so then it will go to the next. So there is no error. Okay, so with the help of the Spring Framework form tags, we are achieving this CSS class error and the form informations. Same like Pojo class properties only, the path, everything is same like Pojo class properties, nothing. Next, so while submitting the form, we have the success page. The success page also we have the expression tag. You can say the expression, which is a dollar. EMP is our model attribute object, emp.id, emp.name, emp.city. We are displaying the form in our view page. See, you can see the information. See, this data we are printing in success page. You can success page after form validations, ID, name and city. This is a simple Spring Boot form validation example. So I will give the complete source code in description. You can go through the source code. Even previous examples also I have given the repositories. Before going to implement Spring Boot form validations, at least you have to know the Spring MVC projects or Spring Boot MVC project, at least hands-on knowledge. Then you can apply the validations. Okay, it is simple example. So all the form tags I told in the all the form tags, we have the drop down, check boxes, radio buttons and everything. So for those also same thing only, I'm stopping the application here. Okay, same application, nothing but all the form tags. For time being I have given the simple application, then remaining is the, you can verify here. See the model user.java. See we have the name, email, okay, so not empty, not blank. So all the annotations. Email constant, also email constant, it will take the exact what we are expecting. So email validation. And string password, the password minimum characters and maximum characters, okay, and the profession. And you can see the notes also, that means text area, maybe if you want to get the feedback or any something. And so date format, the pattern also you can take the pattern, so year, month, date, month, year, date, as your wish. And so number type, minimum value, maximum value. So these all things, married or not, boolean, asset true. Asset true is nothing but by default it is true. If you want to apply the, so any other, so you have to select the radio buttons, not checkbox, you can select it actually. So how you are implementing in the front end data. So remaining setters and getters, nothing, okay. See, setters and getters. So coming to the controller layer, you can verify the controller layer. So everything what we implemented, the same data only. See, controller. So API is the Swagger documentation purpose only I have given. So now don't need to worry about that. Controller and home page and register page, model and user data. There is a model and employee data, nothing. Employee object, user object. Registration form. Here also register, valid annotation, model attribute, everything is same only. You can see the binding results. Okay, here I didn't take in any mol object, you can check it. So once if we have that mol attribute object, that is enough, no need to go for the again, okay. Register form, register success, okay, register success. So the same application. So now you can see the output for this, all the form tags. So I will show all the JSP pages also here. Spring Boot app. And here I can verify it, what is the port number. 7070 is the port number. And see, I'm giving the view pages, you can check it, view page. See, home page same like welcome page only, okay. And register form.jsp, here we have the spring form tag link we have given. So I have given the different so CSS tags. I hope everyone knows the CSS tags, okay, nothing. And the error class for the same red and italic. So here you can see the form colon label. So form action, method equal to post or get, which one you are using as your wish. Mol attribute, same thing only, okay. Path, label, input and errors, label, input, errors for all the data. So you can see the input data, input tag, and radio buttons, options means drop downs, checkbox, and you can see the again income, input, text area for the like, so text message and feedback. So we have the, so box, how many rows and how many columns, like that. It is simple register, okay, done. So start the main method class and see the all the form tags. So for time being I'm giving the references and minimizing the time, that's the reason. I will give the source code, check it. Oh, sorry, so already it is running, okay. The project already is running. 7070 port number, so localhost 7070. The SpringBoot.JSP form validation example, click here. So you can see the user registration form, all the tags, checkbox, it is a input fields, text fields, okay, and a date type and radio buttons and drop downs and checkbox, okay, text field, it is text area like feedback, like that. So if I click on the register button, you can see the all the form validation data. So give the as for your requirement, okay. So you can go for the name, email, okay. So password, so you can select the any year and date. Okay, date of birth, so male or female. So profession, so he is the batter, a cricketer, you can use anything. Okay, I'm using developer or designer. So married, and something income, so something value. So here I'm giving the simple all the fields we have given. So you can see the password must be 8 and 15 characters. So I have given the simple 4 characters, so we got the error. So you have to give the at least 14 characters, means minimum 8 characters, maximum 15 characters. So register, you can see the all the information, it is valid data. Okay, so you can see the valid data. So it is Spring Boot form validations example. Okay, and here you can check the controller layer. Okay, so what it contains, one very basic example I'm taking here, post mapping register. So get mapping for the displaying the your registration form. Okay, form tags, and the user, that is a model class. Here we are applying the javax constants. You can see all the javax validation constants. And valid annotation, so information I have given here. When Spring Boot find an argument annotated with valid, it automatically bootstraps the default JSR 3.8 implementation Hibernate validator and validates the argument when the argument fails to pass the validation as per the requirement, it is not matching the data. The Spring Boot throws a method argument not valid exception. So it will throw the method argument not valid exception. Then binding result triggers there is exception and displays, see, has errors is will be true, same registration form only, submit the required data. If it is everything is valid, then it will go for the success page, next page, like this. Okay, so I hope you guys understood. If you have any comments or any specific topics you need the videos, you can comment in the comment box, so we'll see the exact requirements. Okay, fine. So thank you to everyone. If you guys have any questions, you can comment, and you can subscribe, you can share also. Okay, thank you. Fine.